For sure, I'd say that Sayonara actually have a really deep weapon pool, like, and a deep kind of composition pool they could build out. But I wouldn't be surprised for this map mode if we see Q try and take on the Junior, which we've seen her do before,
Junior, oh
and then
yeah,
see Bagel go to the Nautilus. Like a no kind of
true.
conventional backline comp for this map. I wouldn't be too shocked. It's a bit closer range, but yeah, we're gonna be going into this game right now. Splat zones on Makamart. Very conventional, very normal. These teams are going to be fighting for the tag SY, of course, the most important thing in all of Splatoon. Let's get right into the game.
Boy. Hopping right into the map, we actually see Q on the charger here, and a pretty conventional comp coming out from Seity there with the Sorella, the NZEP, and the K-Shot, while on the other side we have quite a bit of range coming out from Sayonara with both the Knot and
Yeah, so it looks like Saity's going to be getting the first control here. They do get the armor up, and they do have control of the zone. Starting to push up, but no one being taken down yet. They're just going to try and shark ground, but they do lose Kronos early, so this is bad for them. But it's going pretty even here in the mid, and it does look like overall it's going to be Saity going forward, but it's still not completely settled. What do you think about this, Jordan?
Mostly just for say they from the weapon thing, it really looks like they have the inking power to just go in, and they have a lot of drive power. But for the side of Sayonara, they have the backline, they do have the range, so they can outrange them. But honestly, it seems like an equal match, like you said.
Yeah, and I think that was. Oh, sorry. I was going to say that was some unlucky 10 style usage, but that's what happens. But Baker's going to be coming on the inkjet now, just trying to take out the charge. It's going to be control flipping over Sayonara. So, yeah, what do you think's going to be coming from here, Fusions?
Yeah, actually, that was a pretty interesting start there because it really looked like Saity came out strong early with the the armor and the rush up into mid, but really barely any of Sayonara went down. They all just backed off onto the left side and gathered their specials, and really Sayonara has just been holding tight onto this left side and just been getting Saity to feed in on that left, and that's really going to enable them to get back control here as they actually pick off most of Saity there and are going to gain control of this left side here.
I'd agree with you. I think Sayonara had a really, really nice disengage. They knew when to disengage, they backed off, and they then punished and got back in with the specials. It did mean they lost 55 capture, points, but in the end, they still ended up looking better. But this is going to be a fight now as we go into this, Joyan.
Yeah, basically right now just for steady. Oh wait, Vegas is going with one, maybe two inkjet kills. It might be really close, but actually that is the two inkjet kills. Going into the zone, Fusion, what do you think is going to happen now?
That was really nice. On the inkjet recall, Bagel was able to get one last pick before going down there, but really Saity is able to gain back some control here as they neutralize the zone, but unfortunately being only like 2 by zone, they're unable to really get that push back in, but maybe with this armor they'll be able to do something.
Yeah, Sayonara are trying to stop that, though. They do lose Bagels. It's going to be unfortunate. Double Bomb Rush and armor coming out from Saity, so they really should be winning this. If they don't win this fight, that's going to be really, really bad for them, popping 3 specials on it. But yeah, they are going to be getting control now. They used all their specials to do it, and Nitro kind of bit too far overextended, does get punished. Armor and Baller now coming out from the side of Sayonara. This is exactly what they want to see to recap the zone. The zone's taken. They're going to be pushing up forwards. Kronos staying on the edges, just trying to stay around, keep control of the zone, not go over. But unfortunately, that is going to be Getaway going down. Inkjet pop, 2 down on both sides. Kronos seeing that maybe he has a situation to try and go in, but he is alone now, maybe trying to make some space, but it doesn't look like any plays are going to be happening. He is going down late, slightly staggered spawns. I think that's going to be Sayonara getting some really good control with another staggered spawn. That's really good. What are you thinking of this, Fusions?
So, really, all the specials being popped here on that left side are really going to enable Sayonara to get back control, and it kind of just feels like Saity's getting caught alone there. It feels like there are 2 people on Sayonara are threatening flanks, and everyone has their attention in different directions here, as one last bomb rush to attempt to get back control from Saity. It looks like they're going to be able to get back control here, but 2 of them go down, and Avi recaps the zone, and Sayonara is going to take that for... Wow.
That would have been called really close.
Sorry, no. But yeah, that was Sayonara taking the first game. Really, really well played from them. I think we got some nice dagger kills from Bagel. Really extending the duration of the spawns for Saity really helped there. I think that was really well played by them. Bagel having a great game. Makamart being a really good Nautilus map. They really showed what they can do. And right now they're defending their tag pretty well. The originals ones to have it. I really want to keep it. How do you think Saity should try and adapt going into this match? What mode do you think they're going to pick, Joyan?
Honestly, from what they play, Society has the long range, if I remember. So if they want to, they can go tower control. But like both of you said, Fusion and Matt, you guys really think they might go like CB or TC. But honestly, I feel like something interesting would be Rainmaker. Most specifically, Rainmaker on Snapper. That would be equal range. There's equal platforms. It's just all depending on who has the actual pushing power to do it. But that might be a risky move because they do have Avi, Q, Chara, and they have the more pushing players. But it's going to be really. It's just all based on who can push first.
Yeah, I think they really adapted to like Chara, of course, not being a regular member of Sayonara. They're really adapting to his play style there by it felt like they took that first game rather very slowly and like concerted. It felt like they were really just taking their time. The pushes back in. They were really thinking heavily about just not going down, letting Society try and trickle in. And I feel like a more mobile mode, like potentially Blitz, could throw that off for them. So we'll see what comes out here from Society.
I would agree. I'd also say that they could try and maybe abuse the fact that the substitute here, Chara, is most of the time, I think, just playing Rapid. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see him flex too much away from that recently, although he has been known to play a lot of other weapons in the past, so we could see him trying to adapt. But maybe if they can try and counterpick to a map where maybe Rapid isn't as useful, it is more of a niche pick. So if they can find a map where it's not going to get too much value, it's going to find, harder times doing things, then that could be useful for them. But it does look like we're going to Splat Zone's Piranha Pick, which, I would say that is a map where Rapid can succeed pretty well.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think this is probably more of a comfort pick here, and I'm pretty surprised to see this come out actually because Piranha Pit being a pretty large open map, it might be. I don't really see that dealing with the kind of composition that was coming out of Sayonara here. They mostly had pretty long range, pretty solid painting weapons, and I'm wondering if they're trying to uh, pull something unconventional here. The potentially the Sorella being strong that bomb on the conveyors here. But honestly, I'm still not sure what's going to come out, and it'll be interesting to see.
It looks like Nitrocon is actually gonna unready. They were already up, but maybe he's rethinking his weapon pick. Maybe there will be some sort of change up. But apart from that, everyone else locked in. They have their weapon picks ready to go. What sort of adaptations do you think we might see now, Joy, and going over to Spartan's Piranha?
Honestly, that you said before with Char having playing different weapons, honestly feel like Char playing the Tentabella, or anyone playing the Tentabella in this map would really help out a lot because there is two zones and Fusion, like you said, it's a very open map, so anyone can just sneak in from the conveyor and just pop in if they have a baller. That I feel Bigger is going to play with Tentatellis again, but we can see.
Right, we do see some adaptations coming out. We see Q going over to the Elita, a recently buffed weapon, but apart from that, things staying the same. Oh, Nitrocom
Yeah,
will
the
be
T-Tech.
picking the inkjet version instead of the missile version. That's my bad. So yeah, the T-Tech. What do you think? How do you think that adaptation is going to help if he doesn't go down fusions?
Ooh, yeah, one goes down early on the Society. It looks like the T-Tech went down, but I think the Inkjet's pretty strong on the conveyors there. You can basically prevent, once you get onto the conveyor, you really can push people back, as I believe Getaway on the NZAP needs to jump out, and Society's really going to have to regroup as Sayonara coming out strong with lots of paints, and oh no, that's a really big pick coming out from Q there on the sniper, Sifu on the sniper, or Q on the sniper, then Sifu coming out with the counter pick there, an inkjet battle coming out on the conveyor, but really this is going extremely evenly. Wow, what a nice trick shot coming out from Sinfu, and that's really going to enable Saidi to get back control here. They're really going to be able to paint up the most of the mid area, as Special's really just coming out on both sides, and nothing's really going one way or the other. But actually, finally, Sayonara regains control, but really the battle just keeps on going. Just one or two person down on each team, and not much progress is being made here, but Sinfu gets one more important pick there, and that could enable them to get in.
I'd say this is really the Chargers have been dominating the match so far. We saw
Yeah.
Q and Sinfu trade pick for pick for pick, which made the fight get really scrappy and really hectic. It did end up in Sayonara being mostly favored. I'd say that's because they had the initial control. And when you get a lot of picks back and forth, the one defending is going to be the one in the favor. But now they do actually go upper players. So this is looking really good for Sayonara. What do you think they're going to have to do to get back in, Julian?
Honestly, for Sayonara, they have the power right now. They can just stay still. But actually, with that thing in mind, Nitrokun just goes in and just snaps draw, and actually right now that Seity is pushing in, but I should just say right now for the sniper on Seity, the sniper is just popping off right off the bat.
Man,
Yeah,
and yeah, and it's really hard to deal with the Nautilus over those conveyors there because they are so mobile and have such a quick kill. You can, it's extremely hard to try and surprise them. But Char being caught on their own on the left side, getting triple teamed by Seity, Simfu with 2 more picks. And really, Sadie's going to be able to potentially get some control here. If they can get Bagel off this Nautilus on the zone there, they would be able to really get some strong control. But unfortunately, playing safely, Sayonara is going to be able to really push back their paint into the enemy zone and potentially recap here with specials as they have a couple.
Yeah, they do have their specials coming online now. Ink Armor and Stingray both really strong specials to get back in. Sinfu helping with an assist, and their armor's really getting them in, is going to give them some real control there. But now goes down by 3-3. Hopefully Sinfu can find some more crucial picks he's been getting all game. But it does look he's forced back up. Kronos left all alone. He is going to provide a bit of distraction and actually take a pick. That's huge off Kronos. Even though he went down, he got a pick in a down situation and took the attention away from the zone. That was really, really big from Kronos. I think that was, considering the situation he was in, considering that was a lost situation, he really made the most out of that. And I think that's really not too bad. But Sinfu getting a bit, feeling himself a bit too much after that picks, and now getting taken out by Chara, who has all the control with a baller. But nice punch from Getaway. Is going to leave it with another scrappy fight. Some more crazy things going on, but it is going to be a evening out-ish as Seity try and take some control.
Again, this inkjet battle coming out on the right side. Again, just a super duper scrappy fight over on the left side here. 1 person going down, 2, 3 down on the side of Seity. Sayonara is finally able to regain some control here, and with that penalty ticking down, Seity is going to find themselves on a timer here. As we see a couple of them actually come in on that left side, and Chara on that rapid. Difficult. Bagel coming in as well, and this isn't really looking good for Seity here as 1 goes down, and they're forced to retreat.
Sayonara gained the vault. Actually, Bagel gained the vault. Is almost getting 3 kills. Can he get the triple double? He almost got the quad, but actually, Sayonara just always had the mid the whole time, and that's really helping him get the zone and win. So, game 2 goes to Sayonara.
Popping off right there at the end with a triple kill, showing us why he's known as such a good Nautilus player. People know Bagel as a Nautilus. Even though I'd say Nautilus kind of had a big rise in popularity where everyone was playing it, and it's still not bad at all. But it's not as popular as it was before. Other weapons are becoming more popular, but Bagel is still he's playing this weapon. He's doing so much with it. He knew when to go in. He knew when to go on them. His accuracy was pristine, and he just took 3 people out immediately, securing the game for his team. I think Bagel's been playing really well this set so far. Both Chargers have as well, I will say. I think the Chargers and Bagel have both been doing really well, as it does look like a substitution might be happening now, as someone's left the lobby.
Actually, I think that was Char who left the lobby, and I think we might be seeing some members of Sayonara waking up here, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. See if their alarms have gone up and they have gotten their morning coffee.
Yeah, I believe Stun will now be subbing in for Chara, so that will change up the compositions. I don't think Stun is particularly a rapid player. I've never seen him play it, but then I've not seen every match of Splatoon, so I can't say anything. But I think that is going to change up the compositions as his alarm goes off. So yeah, that's going to give them the K shot now. So I don't know if that's going to help or hurt them, but I think it's mostly going to keep things the same because right now Sayonara have really been in control.
Yeah, and I think it's been like you've said, there's really been a lot of scrappy fights here. They've just been going 1 or 2 down, and really I think that the team with the more I think that Sayonara's ended up coming out on top of this because they have the weapons that are able to hold their ground a little bit better. They had Rapid, they had Not, and those 2 weapons are extremely good at just kind of just standing in an area and preventing people from coming in. You can't really approach a Not because they're super mobile. They have a significant amount of range, and I think that they're really going to struggle if they keep going in. If they keep going down 1 at a time to weapons that are able to hold their ground pretty well. I think that they're going to need to have to group up their specials a little bit. It felt like they were kind of splitting themselves up a little bit in the last match or 2. And I'm hoping to see some adaptation coming out.
Some
Wait, wait.
adaptation. Sorry,
You can. No, I can go.
Okay. But yeah, some adaptation for sure coming out, especially as we move over to Rainmaker Blackbelly. So that will be deciding, Splatoon hasn't gone well with us 2 games in a row now, so let's try and mix it up to Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park. So how do you think that's going to try and favor Society now, Jordan?
Okay, for society, for them actually playing Rainmaker and Blackberry, I again, this is going to go basically looking on Bagel and looking like Bagel and Q. Mostly this will be having the ball push from Bagel with his Nautilus and Q with the sniper. Since the top tower is gone, everything is equal range. So Senpu and Q might be having a small issue, but Senpu is sticking with the Stingray sniper. That might work out fine. While Q on the other hand, he did it later beforehand. So they might stick in even field, but who would be the push? I feel like Nitro Kun would and Sun would because you said that Sun plays the K shot and Nitrogen does play K-Shot as well, so who wouldn't know? This would be basically equal field. If anyone can push in first, they could win. Honestly, the Pops as well is if they go through the middle and just go up the rail and just goes and push in and gets the KO. But that won't be predicted.
Yeah. I'm wondering. I'm kind of thinking that this might, the traditional comps might work a little bit better here. I'm just thinking that missiles are pretty disgusting on the hills there. Enzab armor, of course, being very useful against Rays on Rainmaker. And whoa, excuse me. Whoa, is that two
That
splooshes I see coming out?
that is indeed the Mirror Splushmatic 7. I'm actually not too surprised, honestly. I think Splushmatic 7, one of the best weapons for Rainmaker. It's been used quite a while in Japan, and West trying to take it over. But that is going to be, unfortunately, Kronos. Since we're getting taken down early, that's 2 down on the side of Seity within the first 20 seconds of the game. Sayonara are going to get a big advantage of this. Danger or Getaway needs to stay alive, get the armor up as another goes down for Seity. This is looking dangerous here, but they do start to push back in with the armor. This should be helping them retake control, and hopefully they're going to keep it up. What they're going to need to do to keep it up now, Jorian?
Right now we can see with again, like we said uh, about like the side Sayonara actually having the first actually that denies it with society actually coming back with the bomb pressure, all the coordination and actually having 2 down. And right now with danger actually having the same way push following him, that's it. But honestly, this was unexpected with actually Senpu doing with the sploots as well. But we still see the expected sniper stingray from the side of Sayonara. But really, again, now this is going back to neutral state. Who would be able to push? It looks like Sayonara.
Yeah, so the beginning of the game was really interesting because of the short range comp coming out from Sadie there, they had a little bit harder time on the pop. Actually, one died to pop. Whoa, and they were able to disengage well, but unfortunately, the opposite's happening here as a couple go down, and Avi's really got a clear path with that Stingray to take the lead, push it all the way to 24. That's a very good push on this map, and they're really going to need some specials to be able to push in against a comp like this. But without a backline, those kind of pushes aren't they're without like a reliable backline weapon. It's a lot easier to go a couple down and just allow a big push on Rainmaker, which is a lot about spur of the moment if you get control. As Bagel and Sun, they're able to get a couple picks and really clear open this area. Nitro's the last one. They're going to be able to knock him out and knock out the Rainmaker along with it. Wow.
Some crucial deaths on the side of Society there before the end
Yeah.
of the game. Unfortunately, the Splushmatic 7 and the Tensec player, I think, got a bit too far. Either, not going, they should have gone together, or they should have waited a bit for their team, coordinated a bit better, because the Splushmatic 7 just went in, got taken out, the Tensec did the same thing right afterwards. There was no coordination, they ended up just feeding their lives and going down, and as soon as you feed your lives and go down on Blackbelly, the game's done. It's too short of a map to be able to do that, and unfortunately, that's going to close it out, and now they're up 3-0. They only need to take one more game, and the series is done. Like, Saiti need to find something here to stop this sweep. Like, they don't want to be swept here. They need to find a way to win these games and, get themselves back in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the what happened on that last map is a lot to do with their team composition there. They had almost entirely short-range weapons, and trying to get out of spawn there with only short-range weapons, and I believe they only had what did they have? They had one splat bomb, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry,
I
two
think
splat
they
bombs.
did
They
have
had
the
two.
two suctions as well. Like,
Yeah,
they had a suction
they had two
suction
suctions, but it's a lot harder to. Splat bombs force the enemy to move a lot quicker, and it just kind of felt like with short range and two splat bombs, it felt like they were having a hard time really just getting out of spawn, dropping into that first area because both Sun and Bagel were up there really just waiting for them to drop, and they were able to really group up on Saidi well. I think that it's pretty important that Saidi try out their backline weapon here, as Simfu was actually doing a pretty great job on that backline in the last couple games. So I'm interested to see if they're going to try and pick something that more favors Charger and that Stingray coming out from Simfu. What do you think, Jorian?
Honestly, for society, yeah, the weapon comps are the issue, but if you looked in the matches so far, all of them really went in all together at first glance, and then after that, when they get wiped or when they have the environment, they just panic and they get picked up one by one, and then literally after that, it just all full on panic mode for them because Simon and I can just push into the base and overpower them so easily. So mostly what they want to do is really just try to go from the side or try to group together two by two and try to sneak. And actually, I think that's what Society tried to do once as well in one of the matches, but that didn't work out well because that made it up to the KO. So really, what Society just needs to do is just have a chance to go together, not panic when like something happens that doesn't go to where and they get overpowered.
Yeah, and I think on this map we definitely will be seeing Sinfu return to his comfort pick on the Charger, and that is what I want to say. I think from that game I would definitely say that Sinfu is definitely more comfortable on the Charger. He's not played much Blue Schmatic before, so I definitely would prefer him to see him on that role if we want to see Society bring this back. And I think he did really well on it before. You know, his Charger performance on Splat Zone's Piranha Pit was really keeping them in the game at a lot of points. He had some really, really clutch kills and really clutch rays. So I'd really like to see his Charger come back and put a strong performance. You know, this is a map where Charger can really succeed and make a really big impact. So I hope that he's back on that weapon, back on his comfort pick, and doing really well, just like we saw. And hopefully he can turn this series around for his team because, you know, a sweep is not what we want in this exhibition match going into the game. Very similar comps before, but we do see the heavy remix coming from Sinfu. So how do you think that's going to affect things, Fusion?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting pick here because Charger, of course, tends to be more of a all or nothing weapon, and it kind of felt like they're thinking that they were just getting wiped too quickly. So having a reliable backline to just stay alive most of the time is good. As a trade comes out on the right side, but Saidi coming out on the losing end of this with 2 down. Armor's going to come in from Sayonara, and they're going to try and rush the plat here. But unfortunately, with that heavy being alive back there, it's going to slow down their push a significant amount, and that's kind of where the difference between heavy and Charger come in. Charger is really going to have to back up a little bit more in that scenario because it's a lot harder to get the shots they want. But over here on that left side, really, Seity's grouping up again, which is a very good thing to see. The Booyah's coming in, the Armor's coming in. They're really going to try and push this right side here to try and get Sayonara all the way stuck in the choke there and maybe get a push started.
Society disengaging after getting a couple of people picked off, but now re-engaging as soon as they got a couple of people down. But that is unfortunately going to be the Inkjet 1v1 lost for Kronos to Bagel, and that's going to be 2 people going down, 3 people going down. That's a wipe for Society. That all spread across different corners of the map. I think they need to be watching each other more often because they're definitely, I'd say, split off from each other very often here. You know, taking fights that are, unfavorable for them and unfortunately going down. And this is going to be now Sayonara pushing up. They're going to get this control. How is Society going to have to come back now, Joyan?
Basically, society right now, it's just like I said before, they're all grouping up together, but right now, it looks like in the first 30 seconds or the last few seconds, Sayonara is just reading them like a buck, straight up like a buck, so really they need to just reach out and try to go for the sneak, because where danger is right now, there's no ink where there is. So he can just go through, go from behind and get Bagel, get Abby, and just go straight. But that doesn't look like the plan right now, but it does look like Mercedes, they could have a chance to come back, they're playing good defense.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting actually. I feel like Kronos on the Brella is like grouping up with one other member of Society, but really what's really impressive coming out from Sayonara is that like at the start of the match they were double teaming with Brella, but Sayonara came in with the triple team, and that was really what's happening as Sinfu gets stuck in the alley there, and they're going to run it nearly to the goal. One more jump in, it's a 1v1. Kronos thankfully coming out with the victory there, able to not able to avoid the knockout from Seity here, and actually on Inkblot, this gives them a reasonable shot at actually coming back here, as they're able to gain back paint control and potentially get something started here. They were finally able to really get those picks they needed on the tower just in the nick of time.
that is Seity getting back into the mid, but unfortunately they didn't really control too much of it, and Sinfu once again getting picked off, and that's going to be the Entau getting picked off too. 3 people getting picked off immediately on the side of Seity as soon as they get mid control. This is not looking good for them. It feels like as soon as they got to mid, they didn't take full control. They instantly went down to people, and they just got back into their spawn. They don't have full control, and look, this is the difference between the teams. Sayonara, as soon as they got picks, as soon as they got the control, they're pushing up, and they're taking so much paint control. They're taking so much pressure, they're taking so many good angles and positions. It makes it so hard for Seity to then get in and do what they need to do. And if they do stop them at 2 points, they need to get in and they need to take proper control. They need to take good positions. They need to play together. Otherwise, they're just going to get picked off again, and that is how it's going to happen. They need to be able to take down the Inkjet now. How are they going to come back from this, Joyan?
Literally, just for Seity, the way to come back is they need like multiple wipes at this point. Because right now with the 2v2, it's fine. But still, they're not trying to go for the right, they're not trying to go for sneaks. They're just going straight up and panicking. They want to get the kill as fast as possible. But right now with Avi having the armor, that's going to be a bigger situation. Getting down Nitro-kun, but him getting down the armor. Still, they really just need map control, they need to practice the sneaks, and they really just need to have a good comeback.
They've got the people down on the enemy side now. Only Bagel left remaining, and they are starting to get the pressure. They're getting the positioning, they're getting the picks. This is what they need. They have the armor up. Unfortunately, losing Kronos, but they're in their spawn. They have the paint. That should be enough. Kronos should get the jump back in. This should be good. How do you think they're going to keep this up now, Fusions?
Yeah, they were able to get into that top left, which is really important, but Nitro-kun on that Inkjet, they got a couple big picks here. Nitro-kun on the Inkjet went down, but Kronos coming in with 2 very clutch kills and opening the way for Seity here. And unfortunately, Kronos is going to get picked going in a little bit too quickly, and that's going to give Sayonara control of this top left here. But Getaway able to get a pick on that top left, able to get a second pick there. Only 2 left on Sayonara over by the goal there. And really, this is coming down to the wire here. Kronos on that Brella is going to be able to stall the tower pretty well, but unfortunately, they go down in a tie, but Sinfu is able to take it to 3, but not take the lead.
So unfortunate on the side of Seity. They were playing so well. This is the Seity that I wanted to see for the rest of the game, and I think we could have had a series on our hands. They only have 5 seconds to get back to the tower. Kronos is going to have to make a dream play to get back to this. He's going to need to be magical. Ooh, that's Sayonara with the BM taking a drip pick there. No respect at all for their opponents right now, middle of a game, but that might cost them the game. What? You don't beat up your opponent in the game. Now they're gonna cap. They've taken it down, and they're gonna win the game. Don't take your drip picks in the middle of an exhibition match. What are you doing, Sayonara?
Okay, here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about. They really just had a great comeback with actually the Brella from the side of Seity just coming back, just sneaking right behind everyone. I think they were actually doing drip picks, so they didn't matter. They didn't care. So literally at the end they win. Don't end too early. Everyone says that. Everyone knows that. So at the end, literally now Seity got the point. Could be Seity's comeback and making it to the next zones map in Game 7.
Don't count your salmon eggs before they hatch.
Yeah.
Man, and that was actually the stars kind of aligned there for Seity there, as most people at the tower wouldn't have been able to hold it as long, but thankfully it was Kronos on the Brella, which was able to stall until the rest of Seity was able to get back in there, and just seeing a Brella like on tower in overtime, it's extremely scary because Brella, of course, able to take 1v1s very well. If you try and fight them alone, which seems to be more or less what happened there, you're pretty you're pretty likely to get taken out there. And Kronos clutching the game out to enable the rest of Seity to get back in, and a couple clutch picks coming out, a pick from Sinfu, and I think a pick from Getaway there at the end, really just clutched that out for Seity. And man, coming off of that, I'm wondering if we're going to see a real big swing in momentum here, because Sayonara might be feeling a little bit silly about what happened there.
Yeah, honestly, unless it's an NAEU exhibition match, I don't want to be biased, but honestly, I want to see Seity bring this back now, because that would be the ultimate comeback. When Sayonara BM so hard to AFK to take a picture for Twitter clout in the middle of a tournament, and they get wiped and lose. If this is the start of the loss of the series, this would be devastating, especially because, in my opinion, I think towards the second half of that game, we saw a different Seity. We saw them playing together, we saw them getting the good positioning, the good control, we saw them pushing people together, and, it seemed like the coordination clicked. It seemed like they warmed up and they really, turn the game on, right? And if they keep up that momentum, if they bring this through to the rest of the series, we could actually have a set on our hands. And if that is going to happen due to the throw of Sayonara, that would be the craziest set I've ever watched.
That sure would be something. But I'm wondering, I'm hoping to see Sadie ride this momentum here. But I'm really wondering what's what Sayonara is thinking over on the other side there. If they're just thinking, oh, that was our fault. We're going to just stick with what works and we're going to pull it out, or they're really kind of scrambling, wondering what they should change, what should really be happening here. As I think they have struck to splat zones on Oahu World.
Splat zones on Wahoo mode. Wahoo World will be the map mode pick for Sayonara. I think this makes sense considering their weapon picks. I think it's going to be hard for Saity to push back in. How are they going to need to adapt and how are they going to need to play this to keep up the momentum, Julian?
Honestly, okay, let's look at the episodes first. Final Sayonara, it does have the splashdown. We do have the turrets back again with the baller. We do have the sniper with the bomb rod, so that's a good idea. We do have the catch up the missile. On the side of Saity, they're doing the same weapon set. They think it's fine, but honestly, honestly to known to Sayonara, do not do a drip pick in any match in the last 10 seconds. Just a note. But we do see right now on the side of Saity, they look like they can capture on Twitch, and they do. Now it's just based on the overpowerment.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of. This is more of a gut feeling, but I'm a little bit worried about Sayonara's comp here. It kind of feels like they're a little bit lacking in weapons that can really get up and aggressive, because the K-Shot doesn't have too much paint support to really get up and aggressive, and the machine's probably going to have a hard time really fighting like the Brella. So we'll see what happens here. Sayonara is able to get some paint control. Chronos, being a nuisance over in their court here, going to distract them long enough for Saity to take the zone, and potentially they're plat, but Bagel with a clutch pick, actually I think that was Q, and is going to push Saity back here as they are gathering some specials. Symphu with a really clutch pick, 2 going down on Sayonara. This Inkjet's probably going to be taken out any moment now, but Saity is really just hanging on here. They're doing a good job kind of holding their position, and the specials are probably going to enable them to really take zone and take advantage of this here.
I do agree that, especially with those couple of crucial picks, that this is going to be Saity having a really good bit of control here, because I think Sayonara's comp likes a lot of paint control. And I think if they're going to like paint control and Saity can just take the map, take good positioning and try and shut them out, it could be hard for them to get back in. But unfortunately, Inkjet overextending a bit gets immediately punished, and this is going to be probably Sayonara trying to get the control back. Kronos is going to be taking that off angle here, trying to just distract this note, trying to get some pressure in, but a Fizzy Bomb and Inkjet, that's going to push him out, and probably being taken out, or at least shoved out from the map, and that's going to be Sayonara retaking control of the point. Nitro trying to get back in, does take one, trying to go on the charger, but forced downwards. That is going to give Sayonara all the control and positioning they need to secure the splat zone in their favor.
Yeah, ooh, okay, that was a really good awareness there. We saw Avi on the machine was able to keep an eye on Nitro as they were flanking and take them out. So 3 going down on Saity. They're going to really have to regroup here, as that will give Sayonara probably a good 20 or 30 points on the board, as they're going to need to regroup specials. Sayonara really lacking any specials, so it's probably in Saity's advantage to get in as soon as possible. As we see the armor coming out, we're going to see the Inkjet coming out in a second here, and the Brella is going to be probably coming in with Bomb Rush. Good trade coming out from Nitro on that Inkjet. The Bomb Rush is probably going to enable Saity to retake the zone here, as the timer's nearly down to 0, but Sayonara is still holding on pretty well with Q on that Bomb Rush.
That's 3 down in the side of Saity. So,
Yeah, that will be 3 down on. Oh, sorry, Julian.
no, honestly, like there's too much to handle right now, because right now Society is just really, again, they had a good start. They pushed in well and they made it up to 52, but right now, it really like with Sayonara having double famine, again, they're panicking. They try to do the sneaks, but again, like we said, or like we saw in tower control, really Sayonara is reading them, but with Nitro can actually get in the side, that might be wrong, and they might get the zone once again.
Yeah, they're actually going to be rushing in here. The bomb rush wasn't enough to cap the zone. Actually, they finally were able to cap it just in the nick of time. The 3 members of Sayonara over on the glass over here, they're actually going to get pretty grouped up on here as Simfu is just able to keep an eye on them right down the sights of their charger. I know there's one on the carousel. They're keeping an eye out for the flank. But Sayonara is really just kind of holding their position over on the left side. Simfu with a really clutch pick. Q's able to answer back. Avi is going to be pushing up onto the plat and try and hold this position here. With the timer ticking down, Seity is going to need to really regroup as most of them gather over on that plat here for the incoming armor and the incoming inkjet here.
So really nice push coming out from Seity, coming together with the armor, getting the inkjet. Unfortunately, a trade happening, but they do get the flip on the zone. You need the flip for the neutralization. You need the penalty point. That's what I'm looking for. You need the penalty to go on. That's when you need to tap it. Okay, now Seity have control of the zone. What I see, I don't want them to see them overextend this time. I want them to see them abuse their comp, spam some bombs at the choke point rather than going too far. Really nice pick on NitroCon, but don't overextend here. I've seen him extend many, many times, and that has led to a lot of downfall, but he's playing smart this time. He knows his mistakes. He's coming back to zone. He's going to try and spam some bombs, and he's going to try and play with his team. This is what I like to see from Seity. Kronos taking an off angle, though. I kind of like it, but I think he's going to go back to zone just to try and secure the safety of his team going into the last 10 seconds. Bomb rush is being thrown all over. There's a lot of colors going on. This is pandemonium right now. The inkjet's being popped, trying to take out Kronos. Seity holding on their last living breath, but that is going to be everyone going down. The zone control most likely going out to Sayonara, and the set going into Sayonara's hands with a 4-1 victory over Seity.
Ooh, that was a pretty intense one. Last game there was coming a lot closer than I think they were able to in the first few, and I think the swing of momentum from the fourth game there was really what enabled them to English is hard. What enabled them to to keep up the momentum there and swing back the zone in their favor so many times. But Sayonara really showing up after they woke up